Welcome to Life Report. Today we talk about the End of Life Option Act that went into effect beginning of June 2016. We have 10 things that you need to know about the new assisted suicide law and a short Life Bites clip from Outreach Coordinator Juan Carlos on the new act and his thoughts on the recently released movie Me Before You that celebrates assisted suicide. But first, we hear from Anna Reaping, who will share with us her story of her fight with cancer. Listen to how important the support of her family and friends are to her. Now this is Life Report.
My name is Anna Reaping, and I have stage 4 colorectal cancer, which means that it's started in my colon and it has since moved to at least 2 other organs in my body. So right now the biggest area, everything from the colon is removed, but the biggest area of cancer is in my liver. So that's what we're working on right now. In 2014, I started having digestive issues, and I didn't really have a primary care doctor, so I hadn't seen my primary care doctor. I had my gynecologist and I had my endocrinologist, but they really didn't do anything for me as far as checking the other bodily systems. So that fall, it got to where I started losing weight. I couldn't eat. By January, I had lost about 40 pounds. And so I found a primary care doctor. She started right away in on sending me for tests. And by mid-February, she still didn't like that I was still having issues with my digestive system. So she sent me in for a CT scan, and that's where she found in the CT scan, as she read it with the radiologist, the tumors. So it happened so fast. March 12th, I went, had the colonoscopy. He sent me directly to the hospital. I believe it was March 12th. He sent me directly to the hospital where I went into surgery about an hour and a half later. To remove the tumor. Along with the tumor, they removed about, I don't know, between 7 and 9 inches of my large intestine, of my colon. So praise God that I do not have to have a colostomy bag, because I don't know if I could have dealt with that. Well, you deal with what God hands you. So after that, we immediately started chemo, and the goal was, my first oncologist, he didn't really give me any hope. He kind of said, oh, you'll be on chemo for the rest of your life. You know, the chemo you could go for 10 years, you could go for 2 years, we don't know. It just depends on how the chemo affects you. So that was not very encouraging. But because we were new to this, we didn't know any better, we stuck with him. For almost a whole year. Early May, I had my very first chemo treatment, which sent me back into the hospital. I was overinfused, and it was Mother's Day, and the next day I had a doctor's appointment, and he's like, go to the hospital, your white blood cell count is so low, any infection could take you right now. So I didn't realize how serious it was until after. But the recouping was hard. I wasn't used to not being able to do things. And it was frustrating because I was always the one who did everything for my family. I'm the mom. And when I couldn't even get out of bed or dress myself, it was very frustrating for me. You know, I maintained a positive attitude. I said, you know what? I'm gonna beat this. I don't care what the doctors say. You know, I have a lot that I need to be here for, you know. My family, my boys. I have 5, plus my 2 older stepchildren who, by any sense of the word, are my children as well. The youngest being 11 years old, and I need to be here for him as well as my other boys. I want to be here to see them reach those milestones, you know, and graduate from middle school, graduate from high school, graduate from college, get married, have children, or whatever it is that God has planned for them. So I knew in my heart that's what I needed to do. And I have such a strong support system. My husband, my family, my sister, my brother-in-laws and sister-in-law and their families, and friends, an amazing amount of friends. When you're going through something like this, I realize, or I'm beginning to realize, that there's a lot of doctors who will come if you go to the right place. My new oncologist sent a social worker to come and talk to me, and to make sure that I had the correct support system, that I wasn't in this fight alone, that I had people there that can bring me to my appointments, that can take care of me when I wasn't feeling well, that can take me here and there, or can cook for me, or can clean for me, or whatnot. She wanted to make sure that I had all of that. And after talking with me, she's like, you have a fantastic support system. Because my stepdaughter, Bernadette, was really there for me, and got together so much stuff. I mean, my husband, her dad, was so concerned about me. We had 5 young children. I was so out of it that I didn't know how long I was in the hospital. I didn't know how long I was in and out. All of a sudden, we're in July, and I'm like, where did the last 2 months go? But she got together that whole system, and everyone just coming in and dropping off food, or just coming in to visit with me, or coming in to help clean my house, and you know, and there were some people who were almost afraid to come and visit me because the way they had dealt with cancer in the past, or the way they imagined cancer was not what I represented. So when they'd see me, they're like, oh my gosh, you look so fantastic. I wouldn't even know that you were sick, you know? And I'm like, well, it's because I have a lot of people taking care of me. And they would say, you're an inspiration. I'm like, I'm here because of what you do, because of what all of you are doing for me.
Welcome to Life Bites, giving you quick sound bites on life topics. I'm Juan Carlos Medina, Outreach Director here at Right to Life of Central California, and today we're going to talk about assisted suicide. California has now become the 5th state in the United States that has now adopted the act of assisted suicide. This bill allows people who have been diagnosed terminally ill the option to end their own life. This is a form of euthanasia. Euthanasia is intentionally ending a life to relieve pain and suffering. In light of this bill being passed, there seems to be other things that are happening in the background. This movie delves into and tries to normalize euthanasia to the masses, using media as its platform. There's a huge problem with this. The issue with this film is the characters involved, although at first against the act of euthanasia, by the end of it, they're really supporting it. In a real world scenario, we shouldn't be okay with this kind of behavior. By the end, all the other parties involved seem to just move on with their life as if nothing had happened. Hearing real world testimonies of people who have had suicide in their families, we can see that that's not the case. The family is left with wounds, scars, and emotional battles that they're gonna have to face for the rest of their lives. Anytime we lose someone from our families or from society, we're all affected. Everyone has an innate value, an innate dignity that makes them unique and important to our community. Everyone has dignity, from conception all the way up to natural death. People are confusing pride with dignity. And I think what this assisted suicide bill is doing is preying on people's pride, not their dignity. People never lose their dignity. Okay? Your pride might be shot if you're into the situation where you suddenly cannot provide for yourself or you can't do things for yourself. Your pride is shot, but your innate dignity never fades. We have to recognize that when suicide happens, it's a bad thing that has happened, whether it happens with a healthy person or someone who is diagnosed terminally ill. The heart of the conversation is, it's actually selfish for us to allow these people to commit suicide. And why do I say that? Because it takes time out of our busy schedules to actually go and talk to them, to console them, to meet with them, to form those bonds and relationships, to let them know that they are valued, that they are loved. It's going to come to a point where the state is going to say it is your obligation, it is your duty to kill yourself because you're becoming a burden to our society. We have gone so far from a family-centered society that we don't have any more respect for life. We have been desensitized and have been put into different groups according to our beliefs, our political views, our religious actions, and we forget that our humanity is what binds us. When tragedy strikes, we band together not because of our different views, but because we're all human. Our experiences are different, but our humanity is what unites us. If we could extend ourselves and love one another, especially those who feel alone or are suffering or are in pain, we could begin to foster and grow this culture of life. And for anyone out there who is going through these struggles and is in pain, we want you to know that you are irreplaceable, you are valued, we're here for you, and that we love you.